Oh ho. Here we go.
Howdy, everybody. Can you hear me?
I got you, Brady. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey.
Again, Skype is telling me to avoid legal snags by letting you know that we are recording. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to, is this episode 13?
Yeah, 12.
I think this is 13. This is
George
episode 13 of the Weekly Anabolic. That's pretty cool. 13 weeks of this. We're just rolling. If you've listened to all the episodes or you're at least with us for this one, thank you for joining, and we hope you enjoy hanging out with us. So we'll get into it. Brandon, how's things going, man?
Going well, man. You're going well. We got some snow coming in. A little snow day today.
Yeah, man. It snowed hard here last night.
Yeah. Is it still going?
It quieted down. I don't think we're getting much more. At least right now. Maybe overnight it'll pick back up, but it's been pretty quiet most of the day in terms of snowfall. So not bad, but it definitely snowed probably about 6 inches last night. So
that's it? That's all you guys have?
Yeah, that's about it.
Man. I think we've gotten like maybe a little over a foot.
Damn.
Yeah. Like not bad.
That's a lot.
Right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like seriously.
Yeah. See here in Corning, we live in this fancy bowl, and the mountains just protect us from all weather. So that's why
it would just like all pile inside the bowl.
You'd think, but instead it protects us.
Nice.
And that's exactly why you should just move here. Anyway.
The 60th reason to move there.
That's right. We should get this in a Google Doc.
Yeah, probably.
And then we can present it.
And a pros and cons list to Kelsey.
There's 0 cons.
Yeah. There's no cons.
No cons. Nope.
Everything is perfect.
That's good, man. How'd your training go this week?
It was good. I guess consolidating a little bit. I've had kind of like an up and down kind of a week, but nonetheless, it's just been very steady. I haven't really been down on any lifts. I've only really been up like a rep or maybe broke even, but on more of my lifts than not, I've been up a rep, which is good. That's usually just like a very typical trend for me too. So I can't complain. And I'm pretty pumped for this week. I'm going to try and touch a little bit heavier weights with the RDL, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
There you go.
Yeah, something to look forward to.
Nice, man. How'd your food go? Still
eating? It was good, actually. Yeah, it was good. Top of it? Yeah. The weekend was I went up to Kelsey. And that's usually, like, we've talked about this like in the past. Like usually when I used to, like in the back in the day, like going to Kelsey's, I would kind of like I'd kind of fall off the bandwagon a little bit, but it's much easier now. I've kind of like talked things through, and I actually go up there with like cream of wheat and stuff. So
nice. Cream of wheat always wins.
Big wins. Yeah. And then I got back last night around like 9ish or so. It like kind of snowed like a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. It really all the snow is just hitting today for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Making its way through you. Yeah, I think ours started late last night. Okay. And then just kind of like piled on overnight and then didn't snow the rest of today. So
yeah, I wasn't really expecting this. So
yeah, I just randomly checked my phone yesterday, and it was like winter storm advisory. I'm like, oh, that came out of nowhere.
Literally.
Yeah, but how's your weight going? Have you broke 150 yet?
We have not broke 150 yet, ladies and gentlemen.
How close are you?
I think we're like 3 pounds off right now.
There you go. That's closer. I think last time you were 145-ish. Yeah, you're like 5 pounds off. So nice.
Ever since I hit that 149 day, I've been above 145 like consistently. Yeah, like I haven't seen like 144, 143, 142 in a long time. So that's good. Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Yeah. Like if I can hold here That would be good. I'm okay with holding here and then moving up into like the 150s. So
No holding, all gas.
all
You're going
gas.
going to 180.
Yeah. Straight shot to the moon.
Straight shot to 180.
Yeah. We're gonna pull a GME on us.
That's right. Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah.
GameStop, everybody.
Yeah. If you haven't gotten a bite, it's too late.
It's too late by
It's
a
much
lot.
too late. Yeah.
By a
For sure.
lot.
For
But
sure.
that's good, man.
Yeah. How you been, dude?
I've been good. It's been such a crazy week. I got this pup now that just came in on the screen,
Woo!
which that's brought its list of to-dos.
Yeah. Brady just
It's
got a new
actually,
pup.
you know, from a bodybuilding side, it's kind of gotten me out and walking again, which has been nice.
That is
You
good.
know, I get some more steps in the day, which is good. Down, bub. Um, so that's been good. It's actually, it's getting me up in the morning. Um, Probably the hardest part about it all is I'm not sleeping as well right now because he's a big dog and he likes to sleep in the bed. And if he moves, you wake up.
Oh yeah.
And then we get up at like 6 a.m. so we can go potty.
Mhm.
Um, and so far after that, we all go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But honestly, thinking maybe just start staying up,
Yeah.
try and get stuff done. I don't know. Nope. Down, Bubba. Down, Bubby. Go see mom.
I mean, yeah, you could make use of the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it all develops and how he calms down and stuff. He's a little bit needy.
Yeah. So you don't mind the pup in the bed?
If he was smaller, it would be a lot better, and
Okay.
I really wouldn't mind it. Um, since he's so big, our bed is big enough kind of just for the two of us. Um, so I don't mind him in the bed, but I kind of need some other things fixed
Yeah.
so that he can be in the bed.
Like a bigger bed.
Yeah, like a bigger bed. Um,
Yeah.
the tricky part, because he has no problem sleeping on the couch, which is kind of where we've put him the
Okay.
last 2 nights. We go into our room, and then if we just shut the door, he'll just go sleep on the couch. But the problem with that is our cat cannot stand a closed door. And so the cat will try to come into our room and scratch at the door.
If your door is closed?
If our door is closed, yes.
Really? That's so
Yeah,
random.
so the cat can't let any doors be closed. And the dog sees an open door to the bed,
Yeah.
and so he has to hop in.
Yes. Yes. That's a lethal combo, Brady.
It is quite the combo, but
Damn.
we're working on it.
That's funny.
You know, we're kind of thinking about moving into a bigger apartment when our lease is up, just like a bigger in the same place that we're living, but kind of upgrade a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
just make some things easier and have a little bit more space and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
maybe we'll see. Lease is up in October though, so lots of time before then.
Yeah.
However, it's already February.
I know. Didn't that happen quick?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Um, but gym's been pretty good this week. There was a couple weird days in there. Trying to I think I'm gonna go Haley and I both are gonna go to a different gym this whole next week. Just kind of have a new environment. The
Okay.
gym we're training in right now, we're just kind of at the point where even before we get in there, we're already annoyed.
Mm. Just by the
Just because
atmosphere?
the atmosphere, some of the people in there, um, the vibe just isn't perfect for us, at least. Um, so we need to change the scenery a little bit.
Mm. What is the perfect vibe for you?
Um, I don't know. You know, um, I am. I'm a dirty gym kind of guy.
Yeah, same.
So that's the start of it. But after that, I don't like being one of the biggest people in the gym, and I don't feel like I should be one of the biggest people in the gym,
Mm.
and I am right now.
It's pretty crazy. Actually, it's
um,
kind of crazy.
so that sets me off a little bit. The other thing is like the people that work there, they aren't they aren't about it, you know? It's like I want to be in a bodybuilder's gym where the people that work there and are a part of it are bodybuilders and, they eat, breathe, sleep, training, all of that stuff. And the people that work there spend more time sitting on the computer watching or playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not my environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I guess I don't feel like I can really have an intellectual conversation with anybody in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm not huge about like talking in the gym in the first place, but it is nice to not feel like I'm the only person that knows what they're doing in there.
Okay.
Like I have nobody's energy to feed off of when I go in the
Mm-hmm.
gym,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
which so it makes me feel like I'm just draining my energy to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a weird. Yeah, that's cool. Interesting perspective.
yeah. So that's kind of what's going on in the gym. I like the gym. I like the equipment in the gym, but after the last 2 weeks or so, um, it's just been frustrating. Whether we go in there and all the stuff that we need is taken, and then it's taken for an hour. I talked about that last week. How there's only 2 racks in there, and they're taken for over an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's
I
unacceptable.
right. I'm like, I can't lift without that. Right. I'm not going to start my day and skip my main movement. Like I can't just some people will just try and tell you just move to the next exercise. I'm like, no, that's not how my training
Yeah.
works. Right?
Yeah.
That's not how my training works. It's not just as I get towards the end, it can be a just move to the next exercise and come back to it. But I cannot pass my bread and butter movement,
Yeah.
you know? So that goes on. And then I don't want to talk bad about anybody. So there's some conversations that go on in there that kind of really off put me,
Okay.
just about like the sport of bodybuilding.
Yeah. How
Um,
so? Like what kind?
Essentially, like gear accusation conversations
Okay.
from the owner of the gym,
Okay.
because the owner is he's a super hardcore like natty bodybuilder, right? And so I just said I wasn't gonna talk crap about this
Yeah.
stuff. Anyway,
We
anyway,
could leave the names undisclosed.
yeah, there's conversations that take place that I overhear that really frustrate me because the conversations are geared towards completely discrediting people that work really, really hard.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. Word.
So there's that. It's not an atmosphere that's geared towards progress, I suppose.
Do you feel like those shots were geared towards you?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
Of course, but you know what? When I'm not there, there might be that conversation might be taking place. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, like well, if some kid came in and just rode 3 plates.
And
I'd also be like,
there
That's
has
kinda
been a
interesting.
guy. There's been a guy that goes to the gym that actually did. He totally accused me like right on the spot. Like I finished my set of rows and he accused me on the
It's like,
spot.
so how many grams?
Yeah. And fortunately this guy that accused me, he is he's an amateur bodybuilder, I suppose. I wouldn't say he's great by any means, but he's within the sport. And he and I had a conversation about it. And so after, I kind of talked to him or explained what I do, he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." He wasn't he wasn't accusing me trying to discredit me. Accusing is a strong word, I suppose. He was
Assuming.
assuming. Yeah, that's the other A word.
You know what they say about assuming, right?
Makes an ass out of you and me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I told him that I wasn't, he totally believed me, and
hmm
and then we talked about training for a little while.
Yeah. And how did that conversation go? He was just like, so how? And you were just like, basics, bro. He's like, okay.
It started as a joke, and I kind of finished the set, and he's just like, "Dude, how much are you pinning in your ass right now?" And
The
nothing. He's like,
flattery. The flattery. My God.
and I was just like, nothing, man. I'm completely natural right now,
Yeah,
and always
cheeks are
have been.
clean.
And and then he goes, "Show me." I dead serious just pulled my pants down in the gym. I didn't
He
care.
said, "Show me your ass cheek right now," because I don't believe you.
And
Yo, wow.
yeah, and then he's like, "Wow, that's actually really awesome."
Much less hairy than I thought.
Wow, thanks, dude. Great ass.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Yeah, Brady, you've been working on the dump truck lately too, so
yeah, dude, I
he
seriously
should
think
pay
that
for that. You gotta charge him for that, dude.
like half of my gains have just gone straight to my ass.
Yeah, can't complain though. You know.
You know, I wish they would have gone elsewhere though. I don't need a big ass on stage.
Yeah, like my arms.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm competing in bikini.
Yes.
That's it.
We'll get you the hair extensions, all right?
That's right. That's right. I'll put
Yeah.
in some fake boobs. We'll be good to go.
Perfect. Perfect. If you were, right? This is not no bashing on them, but would you, Brady, personally, if you were in like bikini and you were a chick, would you go like A cup, or would you be like one of those girls that goes like for some reason just like a double D cup? Like I never really understood like the super pump up, you know what I mean? Like that's like to
Yeah.
each their own, I guess. But I feel like just personally, I would be a little bit on the conservative side. Like I wouldn't like go out with a bang and like double D myself. But I think I'd be like maybe like I don't know. I don't really know. Actually, I can't
Do
really
you
make
even
a.
know bra sizes?
I'm okay. I know that it's like A through like C D, right? And then apparently there are some like no man land bra sizes as well that go above and beyond that apparently. So I've
Yes.
heard. But yeah, I think I'm like a B dude. I'd be like a B. I think right
Yeah.
now I'm like an A, at least. I hope. It's been like 10 years working on these puppies. Come on.
um, I think if I were to theoretically be in bikini and I had to look bikini, I would probably go with a. It's tricky. Okay, and let me tell you why it's tricky because I have to explain how bra size is measured. Okay. So, bra size is your width around your back just at the bottom of your chest, so right at your sternum, right? So
Mhm.
that measurement, and then you go right around front, right across the tits, right? And so the inches difference is your letter. So if you're a 39 around and then a 40-inch chest, you're an A cup. If you're a 39 around and you're a 41 inch, you're a B cup. If you're 39 around 42 inch, you're a C cup.
Really?
Yes. So the
Huh.
problem that develops there is if you have really wide lats, you can have a good chest, but not actually be like a big cup size.
Yes. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
See, I thought the number was like width around, and then the ABCD was just like boobage. That's just like straight boobage.
so it is, but it's in relation to your width
Okay,
around.
so they do kind of go one like hand in hand kind of.
Yeah, so like
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
said 39 because I'm not like a 32. I'm a bit
Yeah, it's
wider
like
than that.
that's very like typical. Yeah, I've heard of
Right.
like
So
32.
if I was 32 inches around, right, and then I had a 33-inch chest, I'd be an A cup.
Okay. Okay.
So you can get someone who has a really small frame, right? They're like 29 inches around. That sounds so small, but for for the concept, they're 29 inches around, and then they only have, a 33-inch chest,
Yeah.
but that still makes them a D cup.
Okay. Dude. Yeah, this is above my pay grade.
Why didn't I just explain bra sizes
You
for
nailed
like
that too,
five
by the way.
minutes?
Nailed that.
Yeah, so I used to sell clothes for a living,
Ah,
and women's
Brady
clothes was
used to
part of
sell
that.
bras. I
It was,
see.
it was in the store, so I had to know how to sell it.
Brady used to quick sell those
It was a weird
bras.
one to tell women that this bra would look great on them, but
Yeah.
you know,
This bra would look great on you. Trust me.
let me tell you, I can picture it. You're gonna look awesome in
You're
this.
clearly a 34 AD. I could see from across the mall.
It was made for you.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, how
Right.
did we get there?
I'm gonna count that as one of my questions.
Oh, we were talking about bikini.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it. So,
Okay, so
if I
yeah,
were to
A,
go
B,
into
or
bikini,
C,
I would
Brady.
probably go for a C cup.
C cup. C cup. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
a C
Okay.
cup.
I see. I see. All
Yeah.
right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Now we
Going
know.
B. I'm gonna go B cup.
You're gonna go B cup.
Yeah, B cup. B cup. Did you know that currently two different kinds of implants, like one above the muscle and one below the muscle?
I didn't know that. However,
Yeah.
fun fact, I've held an implant before.
Whoa. Well, like in a clinical setting?
So my my
Not in a boob, right?
like I've held the actual implant that like
Yeah.
goes in somebody, right?
Yeah.
My mom is a receptionist at a plastic surgery place.
No shit.
And so one
Of course
day,
she is.
of course, right.
This
I'm
is
really bu-
actually why Brady was so good at nailing these bra sizes. Now the truth is unraveling.
so um anyway, so my mom one day when I was in high school thought it would be interesting for us to know like what an implant was. And so she just brought home this bag of different sized implants.
Were they in the thing too? Like you got to like take them out of the thing, or was it just like the implant was just like on?
To describe what they're like, they're kind of like a jellyfish,
Makes sense.
like without tentacles.
Without the
Is it
stingy
tentacles?
part.
Stingers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, little
stingy
tentacles.
boys. Um, yeah, so it's literally just like a gel-filled plastic bag.
Yeah. Yep. I
You
heard
know,
the thing can explode too.
probably
Yeah. I heard it's no good.
that would be
Not
cool.
ideal.
Not ideal,
Not ideal.
but it would be kind of a funny news line to read.
Yeah. That like boob explodes.
Yeah,
You probably find a lot of pictures, a lot of articles on
lots of
Google of boobs
articles.
exploding probably.
Yeah, go to
Yeah,
go to turn on incognito for that one though.
yeah, most likely. Yep. All right, well, good shit. So, yeah, in the comments, what boob size would you have?
If you were a bikini
Yeah,
competitor.
if you could upgrade or downgrade. Downgrading is in the game too.
Yeah, that is totally a thing.
Yeah.
Um, oh, one thing, and maybe we probably can't speak on this too much, but I don't even know if we have female listeners. But do you think that females in bikini have to get a boob job if they don't have, a big chest? Do you think that that's just part of the sport in professional?
Watch this be like the most female watched episode now. No.
You know
um,
what? They probably want to know this.
if it did, yeah, and if it is good, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Great to have you. Seriously. All right. So, in my opinion, honestly, no, I don't think it's very necessary. I think that sometimes the aesthetic should just kind of be how it is, you know. In my opinion, like especially like in the back of my mind, if I was like a chick like going through that, I would be really afraid of like having a botched surgery, honestly, or like having something be like one boob like a little higher than the other, or like in or out towards the side like more than the other, because like I feel like that happens to like a majority of them. It's like there's something a little bit off, like it's a little bit higher, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left than the other one or something. Like they're just like slightly off a little bit. So I just feel like just like maybe going as maybe like erring on the smaller side, or just not even like kind of doing it, you know? Because I do like respect, like out of respect for the sport, like I think it's totally dope to have like a solid chest, you know what I mean? That you've like worked for. And then you're gonna cover it up with like a giant balloon. I don't know. Just doesn't make too much sense to me. So
So I'm gonna disagree with you actually. I think in professional bikini, it is part of the aesthetic.
are we talking about just bikini too?
We're
Like we're not
talking
talking
about
about
just bikini right now.
okay, so like mass monsters are left out.
Yeah. So
Okay. All
bodybuilding
right.
wellness is different. They're judged
Okay.
differently. I think bikini
Okay.
is
Yeah.
has a certain look to it.
Yes. I would say A to maybe C. A to maybe C, but don't like D it. I would say
Yeah,
C is
I
probably pushing.
wouldn't overdo it.
Yeah.
But I do think it is if you don't have it, I think it is part of being a professional to round out the way to round out the way
No
your
pun.
physique looks, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't train to have bigger boobs
Yeah.
in
It
the
does add
way
a
that
different dimension.
right, so I do think it is part of bikini
Yeah.
at the
Dimensionally
professional
speaking, it is.
level, right? I'm not saying that if you're an amateur and you're trying to get a pro card that a boob job is the difference between you having your pro card and not.
Mhm.
It's likely not.
Yeah. I
But I
actually
think
can't even say for sure that it would be or not.
yeah, I don't think it is from what I've seen and listened to and all that.
Mhm.
But in terms of top pro level, I think if you don't have that look, um, it's it's probably not helping you. And so if you want to be the best, you gotta kind of look like the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. I wonder if the boob aesthetic is actually something that they focus on as much as everything else.
Hey, Bobby.
Oh, hi. I don't know
And
why,
he's
but there's like a
back.
straw. Like a straw like coming out of your cup like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
um,
know.
yeah, I think it's just part of that division.
What about bodybuilding?
No, not at all.
Not needed.
Honestly, I almost think in a way that having big boobs in that division hurts you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like I
Because
think
it's
it's
it's all muscle, right? The
yeah,
whole
yeah,
division is based on muscle.
yeah.
Nate, nope, down.
You've got a guest.
People listening to this are gonna be like, "What the heck is going on?" I have a dog. Um, yeah. So that's that. Anyway,
All right, cool.
interesting tangent there. Um, we got to do what we're doing at the beginning of every podcast now. and go through best thing, worst thing.
Best thing, worst thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
What are you starting with?
All right. I'm gonna start with best thing.
Okay.
Best thing I would say was my row.
Yeah.
That felt
What'd you
pretty
do?
good. It was 225 for 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Felt good.
Yeah, it did. Did feel good.
Good, man.
So, um, I might double back with Nick or maybe you like a little bit later on. We'll see if we should increase a little bit or maybe tidy things up. I'm gonna err on the side of I'm kind of stuck in the middle because I could tidy things up right now, but at the same time, like catching a couple more pounds wouldn't really dirty me up any more than what's going on. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. When especially with rows, for me, if it doesn't look like a hip thrust, then you can probably err on the side of, push it a little bit, especially if you made it to 8 reps.
Mhm.
If you did 4 and you're like, it could be a little bit cleaner, I'd probably, I'd tell you to stay there.
There wasn't even a reset either. Like I actually was gonna reset it after the eighth one, but then I was like, I'm not feeling this one, so I left it where it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah. So I would err on the side of more poundage.
Yeah, I was also kind of leaning that direction as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Worst thing, man. What sucked?
I also had a really good press, not for nothing. I also had a really good overhead press with dumbbells. I was
Yeah.
or not overhead, low incline,
There
60s for 5, which was nice. It was fun.
you go.
And I got super lightheaded before too. I think
Yeah.
I've been taking too many deep breaths before. Like I've been getting like during my zone in, like right before, take too many deep breaths, I think. Because like by the time I like get the rack, like I like unrack, it's been happening in my squats too, or and my RDOs, like pretty much everything. Like I'll like take too many deep breaths and I'll like get really into it, and then I'll like
Hmm.
unrack it, and as soon as I unrack it, I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, so something bad.
Dead silence.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of good that I can't think of anything. I guess it was
That's good.
okay.
If you have nothing, man.
Yeah, let's double back. We'll see if I can figure anything out in between
Okay.
after you.
I think I'm also gonna start with my best thing.
Good choice.
Actually, no, I'm gonna start with my worst thing. My worst thing that happened this week is on both of my push days. I just couldn't do dips.
Hmm.
I've had like a really big run with dips recently, in my ability to load them. And then for some reason this week, the pattern just wasn't right, and I just like couldn't come out of the bottom. I don't know what it was. It was weird. I don't know if I just had like a weird confidence thing with it.
Hmm.
Um, because sometimes it's a little bit hard on my wrist and where it is in my sessions, it's a little bit later, so sometimes I'm a bit fatigued. Um, but they just like they didn't happen. It was actually very upsetting because I really like dips.
Hmm.
And I think they're gonna be a big part of especially my tricep development. Um, just because I don't have great arms. So I'm kind of hoping that those help bring things up. And so when they don't work for me, it kind of feels like I just fall behind.
Yeah.
Um, so that was frustrating this week. But best thing this week, I already yelled that big boy 4.5 plates.
Yo, nice.
Yep. So I broke the 4.5 mark this week. That was pretty dope.
That was a little quick. Taking no time.
Yeah. I told you, man, all gas.
Bray's like, hold my beer.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and so we broke that.
Dude,
Felt
congrats.
really good.
Yeah.
Um, it, I go back and watch the video of my RDLs, and I got 5, and I probably had 7.
Mm.
Like I got the 5. So part of this this competition that's going on right now is it kind of gets in my head that I just have to beat the guy.
Yeah.
And so Calvin did 4.5 plates for 4. And so I'm like, all right, here we go. So I got 5, and then I just like mentally checked out.
You're like, take that, Calvin.
I was like, yep, 1.
You said 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I beat Calvin.
Yep, and put the weight down.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that happened. But I'm going to stay there next week and go after, 6 and 7.
Nice.
Yep. Make it happen. So, and then we'll probably go up again.
Mm-hmm.
Just like soak up all of this progressive run that I'm on right now with RDLs.
Yeah, that pass.
And see how far it'll take me before I hit another wall.
You were going to the moon with this one, bro. Honestly, like,
yeah, we made a lot of progress in January.
Yeah.
It's like I spent all of December doing like the same weight, and then January I just jumped like 35 pounds.
Good shit, Brady.
So
sometimes that happens, dude.
Yeah, it's just I think lifting weights and progress on a movement just comes in waves.
Yeah. It's also mental too. It's like it's really like the perfect storm. Like it'll all kind of just storm up, and then it'll kind of happen for you. Yeah, it's kind of perfect. My pull-ups also went up as well. Like I just decided to like slap a 25 on, so I was at like 1.5 for a couple. I was heavy as fuck though.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, I was way heavier than that.
Pull-ups are one of those things that I hate. I suck at vertical pulling, but I think it's one of those things that I can do a varying amount of load for the same amount of reps. Hi, Bubby. He's super needy today. Yeah, so like I can do body weight for like 8 reps, or I could do like a plate for like 6 reps.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's
Type
like
2, dude.
Yeah,
Type 2.
just
Tucker's out,
I just
mad quick.
I can't do more.
Yeah.
In my vertical pulls.
You have rack chins in
I also
as well. Do you have rack chins in?
Dude, I haven't done rack chins since before lockdown. Okay. So almost a year.
All right.
But yeah, I have to get more vertical pulling in my program because it's definitely been like overlooked, and I need to grow some width to my front look and my back too, but definitely need to add to the front Dorito going on.
The front Dorito.
So you got a worse thing? Anything bad happen this week?
Kelsey said I'm losing my abs.
Dude, that's great.
That is a good thing, though.
That's
At
amazing.
first, I was like, but then I was like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I lost those a long time ago.
It's all right. They'll come back, Brady.
Do you have thick abs? Like someone who has thick abs?
I don't think so. I think I've got pretty tiny abs, right? I think I do.
I don't know. My abs.
I'm a very thick guy to begin with, Brady.
I have I've never really worked abs. It's never been something that I worked.
Yeah.
It's always just been like a functional thing to me and not a hypertrophy thing to me. Yeah. And so my abs are stupid thin. And so if I put on a sliver of body fat, they're just gone.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just like, that's so sad.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, yeah, it's weird. I probably should try and grow them a little bit. But now I'm so nervous about just like getting a thick waist. I'm like,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah. Psychologically, that's what you're dealing with.
yep. I'm like, oh, but if I grow my abs, it makes my waist thicker, and
Yeah.
nobody wants that right now. Hey, Bob.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like from afar, you'd at least have like that look, but then yeah, it might make your waist a little bit thicker. I think vacuums actually do kind of help the waist a little bit, in my opinion. I don't know how you kind of stand on that, but I think that doing like if you train vacuums for like I don't know, if you like consistently train them and you keep them in for a little bit, I think vacuums can just kind of like naturally just kind of tighten you up just a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not going to take like 5 inches off your waist, but I think it could probably tighten you up like a quarter of an inch, I think.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I've never really had to figure that out.
Yeah.
But now, Nick has me doing hanging leg raises on
Hmm.
my leg days, and it's just a rest pause to 30. And we're getting there. I can do them like 15 at a time now, which is pretty dope.
Okay. So you've actually
Oh,
got them programmed.
oh yeah, yeah, they're
Nice.
actually programmed.
Nice. Okay.
Um, so yeah, they're getting a lot back. Dude, my first day with them in was probably the most embarrassing thing
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
because I'm the guy in the gym that does all of this crazy shit, but then I can't lift my fucking legs.
Yeah. Can
Like,
row 4 plates. Can't lift his legs.
can't lift legs. It's
Yeah.
it's just like I feel ridiculous. Like I just felt like a fish. It's
Yeah.
just like it's on a hook, but it's out of the water, so it's just like flopping back and forth.
I can see
But
it.
now I can get through. I'll get through like 15, and then my second 15 is not perfect,
A little choppy.
but not nearly as bad as day one. So
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's what
They're getting
matters.
better. They're
That's
getting
what
better.
matters.
Maybe I'll have some abs when I shred back down again, but
Oh,
I am I'm far past that point.
yeah. They'll come back, man. Once you
Yeah,
go with a decent cut, you're gonna just blow your old self out of the water anyway, so
yeah. That's what I
it's
kind of
gonna
keep
be
in
a
the
good
back
day.
of my mind is I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty thick right
Yeah.
now, especially um, for if I were to try and post anything on like Instagram right now, like I'm not an Instagram bodybuilder right now.
Yeah. You're a
Like
power lifter right now.
there is nothing that looks interesting about me right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but I just kind of keep it in mind that at at the end of the day, or I guess when prep eventually happens, I'm gonna look so much different than I did, and just way way better. I'm gonna have so much development
Mhm.
that it's gonna be actually pretty mind blowing. And then that will be my proof in the pudding, right? It's like I'm not gonna be able to flash abs year round for the gram, but when I show people this was my previous cut, and then I looked like this, but I had to look like that so that I can look
Yeah,
like this, right?
exactly. And
And
you're like
it
20
looks
pounds heavier.
right, exactly, and it just looks tremendously different. I'm like, that is how off season works. You know, if you want to put on considerable size, you probably can't be shredded.
No,
Like,
I can
sorry.
attest to that.
Like there are some people that actually do grow better when they're leaner, right? I'm not gonna say shredded, but leaner. Um, and there's some that don't, and I don't think that I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I keep in mind. Anyway, you still didn't really no bad things this week, huh?
Um, yeah, I didn't really.
No,
I
that's good though. You know.
yeah, I guess the only thing that I guess could have been better is I just could have pushed myself a little harder, I guess. You know.
There
That's
you go.
just looking back on it, I guess, you know.
You sleep well?
I did sleep pretty good. I think I had like maybe one night, where I got to bed a little bit later, like in
Yeah.
like that 1 o'clock range, I think.
Gotcha.
But outside of that, it was pretty okay. Like even at Kelsey's, dude. First night at Kelsey's, I felt like such an asshole. I fell asleep at like 9:30. It was so bad, so bad. And then I like
That's
woke back up
hilarious.
at like 12, and she was still up, and I was like, fuck.
God damn it.
Yeah, I was like, damn. And then we went to bed. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I've been getting my sleep.
Go to
Um,
sleep, wake up, just to go back to bed.
yeah, pretty much, pretty
I
much.
get that.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
man. Well, hey, that's a good week then.
yeah, I'll take it. I'll
Nice.
take it. Yeah.
You got any questions? I'll let you lead.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna swing over to the old iPad Rooney here.
Good old notepad.
Alrighty here. So, when it comes to a lower day, right? Just a lower day, and we're talking about exercise selection. And then if you could split your workout into like the beginning of your day or the beginning of your workout, maybe the middle, and then the end of your workout, how would you stack exercises for a leg day?
Okay. Um, this is pretty dependent on how frequently you're doing it. Um, if you're kind of hitting legs pretty much twice a week. Um, I'll give you basic structure. Um, I always start my first movement. I actually start with an isolation movement, um, something that allows me to get through full um, range of motion at the knee without actually loading the knee. So something like a ham curl, or every once in a while I'll do like a leg extension, but most times it's a ham curl. And then that's, it is a movement to progress, but I mostly view it as something to kind of prep me for my next main movement. And that's when I put in a compound, either a squat or a deadlift of some form, hinge, right? Um, After your hinge, generally I'll put in a unilateral movement, just because unilaterals are hard, and if you put them too late in your program, you just won't have the capability to output them the way that they need to be outputted. Basically, you're going to be too tired, too fatigued to actually perform them well enough, especially if it's something like a Bulgarian. Um, if it's something different like a single leg press, that's a little bit different, but I still always just prefer to put unilateral movements after my main compound.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I almost see unilateral movements like a compound. I treat them with the same kind of respect, I suppose, is a way I can put it, where they hold the same amount of value um, to my day as like a main compound will.
Okay.
Um, I guess that's how I can describe that. After I do unilateral movement, I generally will pick something that is path controlled for me, that I can purely focus on output. Currently, I really like Smith squats,
Okay.
but those I program very dependent on recovery, right? So after doing a main compound, and then a heavy unilateral exercise. I recover pretty well in my leg day sessions, which is why I'm okay going to another squat, basically, and trying to output there. For someone who maybe isn't as trained in doing legs, I would probably move to something like maybe a lunge. You can do a lunge or like a leg press, or you could even do a goblet squat. Those would probably be my next choices. But something that is pretty controllable. The lunge and goblet squat are a little bit out there, but especially with the lunge, if you goof it up, you're just on the ground, right?
Yeah.
If you can't stand back up, you're on the ground. You have one knee on the ground. With the goblet squat, it's a little bit more demanding. So it's pretty dependent on who the person is. But generally, I'll go to something that's a little bit easier controlled, and has the highest availability for output without overtaxing the person. If they're super new to training, I might not even program that third movement. And leave it at that, depending on how the day goes. If it's a hamstring focused day, my compound's going to be probably an RDL or a stiff leg, and then I'll probably have 2 quad movements after that. But that's on a hamstring day. If it's a day where I'm squatting first, I'll do ham curls, and then I'll do a squat, and then I'll probably do the unilateral movement, and then I might just leave it there and move on to smaller accessories like arms.
Word.
Yeah. So it's getting that set up is very dependent on how the person recovers, because you can really dig yourself a hole on leg days.
Yeah.
So how trained an individual is and where their recovery is at will kind of determine how the structure of the workout goes.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? How do you program your leg days? Do you like doing more isolation work, or because
No,
I don't do a ton of isolation work.
yeah, I also don't do very much isolation work either. Um
Hammer curls?
outside of the ham curls. It's really
Yeah.
it. Um Sometimes some people go as far as call it, like, I think Nick even considers a leg press in isolation sometimes. That's, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think he has. um, um, yeah, but that's pretty much as isolated as things will get is with that ham curl. I really do enjoy sticking to heavier compounds more and more as the days go by, as the weeks go by.
Yeah.
A heavier compound just keeps growing on me. You know, it's just a better feeling, just having some nice, like, heavy load that you can move around. More so on my RDL than the squat, but you know.
Yeah. It is you know, it's just more fun doing compounds.
It's way more
You
fun
know, if
RDLing mad
if
weight
you
than
can
just like,
recover from them,
yeah.
that's the thing. That's why other things get programmed. Well, I think some people don't know that that's why they program other things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really hard to recover from doing a bunch of compounds in a day.
Yeah. That was
Right.
like the biggest misconception, I think, was like back in the day, it was like or any workout, you just wanted to like obliterate yourself. You
Right.
know? You just want to go in there, do as many sets as you possibly can until you can't walk, and then just go home and eat.
Go home. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like how it was.
Yeah. It's funny. Now there's still that group of people that are like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's way too many people they go into the gym trying to just be optimal, and they completely lose the aspect of training hard,
Yeah, they just
right?
missed the
Like,
mark.
yeah, like actually trying to die.
Yeah.
You know, they're people just don't train hard enough. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
they end up training, or they just overtrain. They need like a nice happy medium. I think. Do you think
Yeah,
it's better to overtrain or undertrain?
overtrain.
You think it's better to overtrain?
Yeah, because I think if everybody tried to overtrain, the greater majority of them probably still wouldn't train hard enough.
Yeah, I'm in a vacuum, and they actually do train hard.
Oh, okay. So,
It's like perfect. I know that that's kind of hard to know.
um, if uh, if people that already know how to train, honestly, I'd still rather they overtrained.
Hmm.
You know, as long as they're on top of their diet and recovery.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather you trained really, really hard and then we took a deload than leaving stuff on the table.
Yeah. The verbiage is also a little wonky too. Because like if I said like overtrained, it would just imply that your recovery is not keeping up. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like I should reword that just a little bit. But
Yeah.
okay. All right, word.
As a coach, I think it's a lot easier to adjust someone's recovery pieces to kind of try and keep up with their food, I mean, with their
Hmm.
training,
Hmm.
than it is to try and teach someone how to train harder,
Yeah, I
especially
agree.
if I'm not there,
Yeah.
right? If I'm not there to be in a set and be like, do another one,
Yeah.
like you moved too fast, do another one, you're not done,
Hmm.
you know, or you're taking too much time in between sets, let's go,
Yeah.
to kind of take them through so that they do understand what training hard is actually like. Um, it's really hard from an online coach perspective,
Yeah, that is true.
you
Yeah.
know. So
And if you're not like
I'd
getting
rather,
videos sent to you.
yeah, I'd rather just adjust recovery means.
Hmm. I
Um,
think it's better to turn the volume up and gradually turn it back down
yeah,
to a baseline than gradually kind of push it up. It depends on the person too. Some people will deal much better with a nice gradual, increase, but
yeah,
in terms of like finding a benchmark, typically you want to kind of spread yourself as thin as possible to see what you're capable of. So yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
I mean, your goal should be to run as close to red line as possible
Mm, yeah, you
without
don't want
blowing
to.
up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's almost
Like
like
that.
it's
That's it.
like yeah, you don't
Run
want to
as
get burned,
run
but
as
at the
close
same
to
time,
100% as you possibly can without blowing up, and that's it.
yeah,
You know, that is optimal.
yeah. I feel like it's really hard to do for a majority of the people. Do you think like a majority of the people can just do that, just like anyone? You just like
No, it's a skill, right?
yeah,
That's why we
yeah,
hire people.
yeah.
You know, we hire people to keep a look over us
Hmm.
so that, you know, they can help from an outside perspective because it makes a difference, you know.
Yeah,
Have someone look at what we're doing and say, okay, you have a little more to give here, or, you know, we need to pull this back
yeah,
and make these adjustments. Because when you're the one who's trying to run at 100%, um, it's really easy to overlook where you're over allocating, right? So say we'll keep going with 100%. Everything that you do will add up to 100%, right? And let's say you're doing 5 sets of squats to failure, and that is now taking 50% of your 100% for the week, right? And so now you only have 50% left to give to everything else.
okay.
Instead, pull back 2 sets, and now you're rocking 20%. And now you can allocate more of yourself to the other things, which is actually going to optimize. You're pulling back on squats, but it's giving you the ability to work on other things, which overall is going to develop you better, right? You're not going to, because when you're using this 50% on squats, you aren't going to recover well enough to optimize your push day training or your back day training, because you're going to be so messed up from allocating so much of yourself to that specific day, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I like.
we only have so much of ourselves we can give.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have to play with the numbers of where is our ideal mix of effort, I suppose, right? Um, and it changes, right? It changes as we our training years increase and our education and intent increases, or as we get better at movements. When you're first starting, a squat is going to be taxing because you're working so hard just to make the squat happen, right? And then as you get better at the squat, it becomes more efficient. And now you're not working as hard. You might be progressing load, but systemically, it's going to feel different and react differently, right? So this allocation is always changing of our efforts and our, where our 100% is. And so that's why we make adjustments. You can't run the same training plan and diet plan that you started with.
Yeah.
And then you can adjust your 100% by doing things like increasing food or adding in anabolics, right? It allows you to push the ceiling of where 100% is, right? So that's I don't even know how we kind of got there.
That was interesting because I was also just playing off of like your 100% idea. It's like, imagine if everything you did was graded out of 100%.
Right.
And whether or not you actually went 100%, like, and I'm talking about like, instead of like a set taking away from that 100%, right? It's almost like an average of like, on this set, this rep, like on this rep, I gave maybe 100%, but then for the set, maybe you gave it like 75%, right? If you're giving 75% of your effort on all of your sets, you've now averaged a 75%. You've left 25% on the table that you could be improving upon for that week, right?
Right.
That was just like a cool like thing that I was thinking about, just like playing off yours. But yeah, interesting concepts.
Yeah. And different percentages don't always equate to the same percentages in your total. So for something like a deadlift, say you went to failure on a deadlift versus leaving 2 reps in the tank. Failure on a deadlift is so systemically fatiguing that it is many percent above what just leaving 2 reps in the tank on a deadlift would be, right? And so that's how you can adjust minutely, and instead of taking this specific movement to failure, you'll be able to get way more percent out of another movement if you leave a couple reps in the tank. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like saying like you're gonna squat at the beginning of the week and going balls to the walls in your squat, bring it to complete failure, folding underneath the bar, and then you've got a deadlift like 3 days later. You're like,
yeah. So like for those who are listening, who who has had an absolute killer leg day, and then your next session is just like not very good, right? And that's because because you're fatigued and you gave so much of yourself to that leg day that you now just don't have the same amount to give to your next day. And so I've had this conversation before with, sometimes you kind of have to think about that, where what are you exactly trying to progress this week?
Yes.
And if you know you have a really heavy hitting leg day right before a push day, and you know you are really trying to progress your push day, maybe pull back a hair on your leg day so that you have enough to give for the next day, you know, or, you can adjust your training so that there's a rest in between that leg day and that push day. And so this is where all the little dials get turned, right? There's 100 different dials, and as a coach, you're kind of I almost just called it the puppet master, but that wouldn't really
Kind of
go
though.
with that wouldn't go with the dial analogy. You're the
Trying to
music
think who you.
producer.
You're the DJ.
Yeah, you're the DJ, and so you're playing with all these different little dials, and you're essentially just trying to find the perfect harmony in this moment of this person's life. And then you just, as things change, you continue to tweak dials. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
small adjustments,
Yeah.
to find the perfect harmony, that perfect note,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is you want to think of it.
Yeah.
It's not just cranking all of them all the way up, because then you end up with this terrible sound, aka somebody's entire body gets destroyed, and that's overtraining.
Yeah.
Right? It's not cranking everything to 100. It's cranking some things to 15 and some things to 75 and some things to 20, right? To find where this perfect balance of somebody's training and recovery lays,
Yeah.
so that they can optimally perform. Right. I think it has far less to do with exercise selection than people think.
As far as in regards to intensity.
Yeah, in regards to the grand scheme of things, your diet, your nutrition, those are the same thing.
I
You
say
know,
that too, honestly.
yeah, right? We all say diet and nutrition, but they're the same thing, unless you wanted to think about like supplements. But
You're gonna have that
either way,
one person that's like,
I'm
"Oh,
gonna
your
I'm
diet
gonna group
is."
right. I'm gonna group all of that
Yeah.
into recovery. So your recovery, and then your day-to-day intensity in the gym,
Mm.
um, matters far more than trying to pick exactly the perfect exercises. I will always say, nail your basics, right? And that's always how I coach. I'm pretty sure that's how you coach,
Yeah,
um,
I think
right?
it's a good thing that you've never. I don't think you've ever been a find a perfect movement kind of a guy.
No,
That's been too driven down that path. I've been.
no,
I've
yeah,
for sure been. I've for sure been there. Yeah, like I 1000% thought I couldn't squat for the life of me. Honestly, with these daddy long legs, I did not think that this ass was going to the grass. Like no way, no shot. Um, so yeah, it's no
yeah,
fun being on. It's a good thing to be on one side as long as you come back. As long as you come back,
right.
you
It's
can't
good.
just stay
It's
there.
good to visit other hills,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yep.
And turning dials. It's good to try things and see how it affects you, and then readjust the dial, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think there's an optimal training split or optimal exercise selection for everyone. I think it's very dependent person to person.
Yeah.
So the other things that aren't dependent or independent person to person is going to be your training intensity. If that's not there, your exercise selection sure as hell doesn't matter, right? You're not gonna
Yeah.
get shit from it.
Yeah.
If
Literally.
your recovery isn't there, also
Hmm.
you're sure as shit not gonna get anything from your training.
Hmm.
So make sure those two things are in place before you start playing with the dials of perfect exercises.
Yeah. Yeah. And thinking, oh, it's not the squat.
Yeah,
It's got it's that. Or I'm sorry, vice versa. It's the squat. It's not me.
yeah, So, what was your
Chaotic.
question?
What was my question? I think that was just in regards to exercise selection for leg day.
Oh yeah, we got talking
So
about how we set up leg days,
yeah.
and then I got talking
So
about
I think
um
uh, to add to that, we could also like kind of like what you just said, like experience level is something that is definitely something that you should take into account. Like we can give you like a pretty good setup, but if you're someone that's like totally just walking in like a newborn baby gazelle, like that, what we kind of just said might change up just a little bit for you. You know,
right.
like I feel like when it comes to experience, especially with what I've noticed now and adherence and stuff like that, is that with my clients start them off start or if this is just yourself too, just start off with something a little bit easier that you can understand and get a basic grounding concept of like, okay, this is how this movement should go, get a really good feel for it, and then move into something else that is a little bit more challenging in
Yep.
some sort of way, shape, or form
Yeah.
that replicates that movement.
Yep.
um, you know just
Yeah,
starting off with an RDL can be a little bit hard for some people.
that brings up a complete other can of worms
Yeah.
is adherence, right? I can write what I think would be a perfect split for somebody, but if it's not going to invite them to adhere to the program, it's no longer a perfect program. I tell a lot of people, I'm like, I would rather write an 80% perfect program that gets 100% adherence than writing a 100% perfect program and gets 50% adherence. So, you know, I I think people need um, to follow plans and have plans that are followable for them, right? Which is why copy and paste programs don't work. That's why, you know, any of that stuff doesn't work because for anyone to be successful, they just have to keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Literally. Just keep pounding away. Like,
like,
just don't stop.
yeah. And then, make adjustments as you go, but you have to go long enough to have data to look at,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. Is it's almost like an paralysis by analysis thing where they spend more time trying to figure out what's going to be the perfectly written program versus just getting in and doing what they're going to be able to do day in, day out
Mm-hmm.
for them currently. And then as they get in that rhythm, then start to make adjustments.
Yeah, then you can start to branch out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're not, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be a bodybuilder in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. You, it's not going to happen. So you might as well just start with what's going to work for you
Mhm.
and then dial it in down the line.
Yeah.
Just get running and then get tuned.
Yes. Yeah. Like, take the leap. Like, you got to take the leap. Because if you don't, nothing's going to change. You're not going to be flying. You're not going to be moving.
Yeah.
Like, the
Just get
paralysis
rolling.
part is so, yeah, you got to get the ball rolling. Because, like, if you don't, then you're just chilling and you're not moving. You're either moving or you're not moving. So you got to make the choice to move. And that's like the biggest thing that I see with a lot of people, just like you were saying, is they get paralyzed because they overanalyze the situation. They think about like all the things that they should be doing and all the things that they shouldn't be doing as well, which is like,
Yeah.
and then at the same time they're like, I don't even know what I should or shouldn't be doing. I've got all these things in the air. Screw it. Like, I'm not going to take a step because what if my first step is wrong, you know? And it's
Right.
like, reality is, if you don't have a coach, you got to take the first step. And if you mess up, good, because then you kind of
Make the
just,
adjustment.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just keep going. You just kind of reroute just a little bit, change the trajectory just a little bit. You're still on the same plan, but you just kind of change just a little bit here, and you've gotten the ball rolling, and now you can start making more and more calls because you've like played through these little actions, and they kind of led you to this next step, and then you can make a new call at the next step, and then you get to the next step, and then you can make a new call based off that. So, You know, you always got to just keep trying, keep doing new things, and that's it. Like people are always like this or that. It's like try it out,
Right.
try it out, see how it goes.
Test it, and then why don't you
Yeah,
tell me?
yeah. Too high,
Right.
not high enough. Try it out.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, the person that walks in the gym and only does the leg press and then leaves still is getting more done than the person that didn't show up because they're still writing their program.
That doesn't do leg day and does chest day. Like every dude, like almost like 9 times out of 10, every time I ask someone what they're doing, they'll be like,
Do chest.
yeah,
Chest and tries.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or I love this one. It's the I was gonna do leg day, but I had
Action
a
taken.
big day at work today. Like I just
Yeah.
walked around all day. I'm like,
Nice.
like, dude, the walking doesn't cut it, bro. Like you gotta load it up, bro.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit, man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all
Yeah.
right.
And I'm gonna make that very clear. If you walk a lot, if you just do like if you have a maintenance job, you walk a lot, or maybe you went on a hike, don't tell your friends that you had a really big leg day because that's not a leg day. That's it. Just gonna leave
That
it
was
there.
cardio. You did a big cardio day.
That was cardio. That was steps. That was
Yeah.
neat. That was neat.
That right.
That was your
You had a big
non-exercising
neat
activity
day.
thermogenesis. That's what that was. That was not a leg day.
Not a leg day. No.
No. Put a bar on your back. Get your RDL in or
Then
something.
walk around.
Now.
Lunge everywhere at work.
Lunge up cat rock. We'll try that. You don't know what cat rock is, Brady, but cat rock's like this giant ass mountain.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And so we've been talking about the gym, but I think that paralysis by analysis thing gets even worse with diet.
Yes.
It's even worse, man. It's like people, somebody's food scale will like die, like the battery will die. And instead of just trying to follow plan to like guesstimate, they'll be like, my scale died. Guess I'll have to go out to eat. Like, like,
yeah.
that was the logical step there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like out the window, dude. So
It's
true.
like, well, since I can't do it perfect, I guess I might as well just not do it at all.
Dude,
And that's such a bad culture that's developed. And I think that's a recent thing. Like, I think that's our generation kind of thing that just happened. And I don't know where it started. It was like, if you're going to do anything, do it the best. Or like,
I don't know.
and I think it got hyper inflated to, if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing at all. And it doesn't apply, especially when you're getting started with exercise and diet. Be close.
I think everyone likes being a golden nugget. Everyone likes feeling special. No one wants to just feel like they're like a rough amongst diamonds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but it's killing so many people's journeys, I suppose.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that that's a correct way to think about things, because in all reality, like, just being super blunt, like, we're nothing special.
No.
Like Brady, myself, like
all of us.
Yeah, we're just trying. We're all pretty pretty average peeps right now. Brady's pretty fucking strong. But like in the end, like, yeah, we're not in any means like monsters right now. Like, we're chilling. We're average. So,
and you know what I've learned? The monsters are no different. They do the same shit we do.
Yeah. I think
right?
it's honestly it's
they've either just been doing it for longer, or essentially they've just been doing it for longer, and they've kind of gotten things optimized before we did, right?
Yeah.
And so it worked out for them, and that's where they are. But for the most part, they do the same shit we do.
Yeah.
You go in the gym, you just put in a goddamn effort, and then you eat.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's bodybuilding isn't, and bodybuilding, weight loss, all of that stuff, we've talked about it before. It's not a smart people science.
Yeah.
It's literally just the hardest part about bodybuilding is that it's monotonous. There's nothing fancy, there's nothing shiny about it. There's to be good at it, you just have to be really good at doing the same thing over and over again. It's like jail, you know?
That's how I feel with my meals, bro, sometimes.
That's exactly what it's like.
I've been working on changing my relationship with food.
Yeah. Your mouth looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
You're super close.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mama paid for my expensive mouth, so thank you. Yeah, that's literally how I feel with food sometimes. I'm like, this is meal 7,843 of
Chicken and rice.
1,278,000. Yeah, I'm like, God. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sometimes
it's
I think are you the type of guy that when you think of a like finishing a task, do you see your completion bar going up towards 100% or does it go down towards 0%?
um interesting question. I don't really think of a progress bar.
Yeah, I guess that's just me.
Um,
No, just me. All
um,
right.
I think of things as going to 100% though, not
Okay.
0%.
All
I
right.
start at 0.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. Going down to 0 is sounds sad.
It does sound sad.
Unless I'm like trying to get rid of stuff,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and then it's going down to 0 because the goal is to have 0.
Yeah, I think I'm a count up guy. I'm a count up guy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
am too in most cases.
Yeah. All right, cool.
We've talked a lot about coaching so far on this call.
Mm.
This I thought was a really good question that I came across. What do you think is the best way to find a good coach when you're just starting out?
Mm.
It's kind of a hard question,
I think,
especially with like the social media world we live in.
yeah, I think it takes a little bit, dude, to be completely honest, like, in my opinion, the way I came across Nick and my decision towards Nick, because bar none, like, I dead ass do think Nick is one of the best coaches that we could probably find, like, in the
Yeah,
US,
yeah.
period, maybe. Okay. And like, world, dude, whatever. I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm not gonna say it yet. But like, he's a really great coach. He is a really great coach, no lie.
Yeah,
So, um, in my opinion, just going through the way I kind of like developed throughout my bodybuilding career, I guess you could call it, was like I went through these stages where I went up on certain hills and I came off of them and I went to different hills and I came off of them. And after a while, I started seeing like a relative like trend or I tried to find relativity in all of them and then kind of paint it across each other. So it's kind of like seeing what these guys say, seeing what these guys say, seeing if they align on certain things, seeing if they disagree on certain things. And then by the time I had like after like years and years and years of doing of like 3D MJ, RP strength, Ben Pekulski, Joe, the hypertrophy coach, JP, James, Nick now. Like it was a very like organic growth towards like not like bullshit. I almost want to feel like because like you were saying, there's
yeah,
like so much clutter, there's so much noise in the industry right now that it's very hard to kind of like figure out what's right and what's wrong. And the only way that I was able to really kind of decipher between what was right and what was wrong, outside of that, just it being my own deduction, like that's like what I know isn't necessarily true, right? It's just because I think it's true doesn't necessarily mean it is true.
right.
But like, I've listened to a few of these guys and they all start to kind of generally say the same thing, and then you can kind of take it with more than a grain of salt, a little bit more than the rest of the stuff, and then you kind of continue on that direction. And then eventually your your bullshitometer is what I'll call it.
Go. Good.
It gets keener and keener and keener as time goes on. As you get smarter and as you start to accrue more knowledge, your bullshitometer goes, it will go off the charts with certain things, or it gets a little bit more sensitive. You can smell it. You can smell when people's shit stink. You know what I mean? This is all really adding up quite beautifully, I will say. So yeah, that's like kind of what I'll say is that it's better to know when someone's like BSing you. Like no matter what, when someone tells me something, I always say it's false until it's proven true. Until I can really get down to like the nitty gritty with it. And then once it's proven true, then okay, I accept it. Yeah. So I think being able to decipher a bad coach from a good coach can really help you. Like if a coach just comes to you and then there are way more flags than good things, like bad flags and good flags, then step away. If you're talking to them, have a consultation call with them. If they seem like they're just trying to shove something down your throat, or if they feel like they're just trying to sell you a gimmick, or if they are trying to sell you like a bunch of empty promises, like they're going to do exactly what you want, or like, they say that you're not going to have to, it's not going to be hard, or you're not going to have to work for it, or it's like, that's BS gimmicky, like just come aboard, like screw that. That's no good.
Right.
So like, if a coach doesn't BS you, that's good. If they're up front, that's good.
Yeah, but how do you find these people, right?
Okay.
Because
Yeah, that's like a whole nother can of worms now.
right, because here's the problem. There is no great encyclopedia of coaches.
Yeah.
That should be a thing. The problem is there's coaches coming and going all of the time.
Yeah. It could be an online database, Brady.
It could be an online. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll build it.
Yeah, you will. I'm sure you will.
I'll build it, and then the coaches will have to pay me to be on it, and that's how I'll make money.
And then you'll just
A
sell the business.
monthly subscription.
Yes.
To have your name listed on the coaching encyclopedia.
Yo. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Cha-ching.
we have to leave. We will be right back.
I'm gonna bleep that whole part out.
Yeah, people are gonna take that. You better be careful.
Not a bad idea, to be honest.
It's like a Yellow Pages, but for coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Anyways,
there's no great encyclopedia.
Yeah. So our answer is, once we make you this great encyclopedia, you can go ahead and visit the website, right. and you can find these coaches through Brady's website.
That's right.
Okay, so I guess honestly, if you're just organically looking for a coach, dude, you have to do it. It's almost like getting the ball rolling. Like you're gonna have to just start looking at some coaches, start seeing what they do. Like if you're going through Instagram, just know that you're probably not gonna find a golden nugget. Like you're probably gonna find a lot of coaches that are very similar.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that some of them can't get results and that some of them they won't like mesh really well with you mentally. Because some coaches like mentally they'll just like get to a client really well, and that's great. But I think it's just going to take a little bit of research from your part, like a little bit of your own due diligence to kind of look into these coaches, see what they're about, see their mentality, their philosophy around training, and then you can make a more educated guess, and if these flags aren't going off, then maybe you can kind of message them, see what they're up to, and then see their mentality, like I said, again, readdress their philosophies and kind of ask them what they're about, see if they want to help you. Always be skeptical though, always err on the side of skepticism before. It could just end it and just be like, yo, just like, dude, who do you think the best coach is? Honestly.
I don't know. So here's how I would probably go about it. 1, go find people that do what you think you want to do. Um, 2, find their athletes and see if they are also doing what you want to do. If they are, talk with the athletes before talking to the coach.
I like that.
Um, Generally, athletes are going to be more honest about their experience than the coach will be, because, at the end of the day, the coach is being a coach because they're trying to make money, right? And it's probably a job for them. And so they are going to sell you, or attempt to sell you, if you inquire them straight up about coaching, right? They're going to tell you, hey, let's get on a call and chat about it. And the whole purpose of that call is, at the end, you sign up. And
Yeah.
if you're right.
Yeah,
And that's
literally.
just straight up how it is. If you're hopping on a call with somebody, you're probably getting sold.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Brady is just straight up telling it how it is.
like
It's true though.
that's how exactly how it is.
Hmm.
Um,
And they're
so
really like at the same time.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. At the same
No, go
time,
ahead.
it is a like don't feel like slighted because it is like a very this is like
Right,
the first chance for the coach, whatever coach you'll be talking to, the coach to actually get you on board towards your goals. Like this is like the moment where you're either going to say yes or no, and it really
right,
doesn't matter to that coach most likely, right? It doesn't matter to Brady or I whether or not they come aboard. We would be more than happy, ecstatic to have you. But
right.
whether or not you say yes or no, we won't lose sleep over it. It's really for the client, and that's like the first chance that you're going to get to like really start working towards your goals.
Right. Um, but that's why I say probably try and talk with their athletes first,
Yeah, I do
and try
like
and
that.
understand what the experience is like, what the coach's style is like, if you think that's going to jive with you. If you're someone who yourself and you're just going to do what has to be done, you're going to eat your 6 meals, it's going to be the same thing every day, you're going to go train, and that's that. You're going to want to find a coach that tries to coach that style, right? So first talk with their athletes. Um, then, and while doing that, keep an eye on the coach and see if they talk about things that you find interesting, right? Is it something that jives with you?
Mhm.
And then talk with the coach. And when you talk with the coach, pay attention to, you know, are you receptive to what they are saying? Do you feel like you actually want to listen to the conversation that they're trying to produce, right? Because part of the coach-client relationship is, again, adhere, right? If you, right off the bat, don't feel like you want to listen to everything this person says, probably not going to be a good coach for you, because it's okay to question things, right? But if you're talking with this person and you're just not feeling it with them, no matter what their clients look like, you're not going to want to do what they're going to tell you to do, right? So you also have to find a coach that's going to kind of connect with you on, I guess, a personal level, right? An interrelationship kind of level, where you guys can have conversation. Because as you get into being with a coach, it becomes more than just here's your meals, here's your diet, right? Because you want to be able to tell the coach, all right, so in these sessions, I'm feeling this way, right? I think if we turn this dial down, right? This is where it comes back down to dials, right? You need to be able to have the conversation with your coach about what dials you think need to be changed. And then if you aren't going to feel comfortable with that, it's not going to be the right coach for you, right? There's a lot of great coaches out there. And again, bodybuilding isn't the smart people science. diet is fairly simple. Training for most individuals is pretty straightforward. But finding somebody that you can connect with to adjust the dials is going to be an important part of your success.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't talk with your coach is going to assume that everything is happening perfectly, and then when it doesn't, and you're upset, your coach is then going to be like, "You didn't tell me, right? You didn't tell me these things, so how would I know to make the adjustment?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that piece.
Yeah.
That's how I would go about finding a coach. For myself and how I found Nick, I just, I happened to go to college with Nick,
Mm-hmm.
and I always, I saw that he was a freak, and that was interesting to me. And then so after that, we just we sparked a conversation and chatted about it, and that's how it goes. And our relationship has grown till now we're more in tune with what dials to change because now we've worked together for so long. But it started with the fact that I was comfortable with the things that he had to teach me, and I was willing to do what had to be done. So it comes in pieces, but you kind of have to see beforehand if the coach is going to be someone that can put those pieces together for you, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So that'd be my
Okay.
piece of getting a coach.
Good stuff. Yeah, I like the contacting of the clients as well, and they will be much more transparent with things, and everyone's gonna have like a very individual experience. So
Right.
yeah, I like that, dude.
Dude, I've had so many people like reach out to me about Nick's coaching.
Really?
Yeah. It's so funny. And most of them, have you noticed how many people in the chat come in and they're just like ready to get in on this RDL challenge?
Yeah.
Like half of them have already talked to me
You've
before.
also been telling me about it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I love it. It cracks me up, man.
That's awesome,
But
actually.
yeah, a lot of guys come and chat with me beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I end up seeing them in the chat like a week later.
Yeah. Dude.
So you're welcome, Nick.
Yeah, right. Nick should be paying you commission.
That's right. I think I need a commission.
Seriously.
I, I have I have 119 followers on my training page now, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, good shit, dude.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's slowly growing. I remember I had like 10 at one point. I mean,
Yes.
obviously every Instagram had 10 at one point,
Yeah.
but my Instagram had 10 for like a considerable long time.
It was a real 10.
It was yeah,
It was a
it
long
was an
hold.
honest 10.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so funny. It's just slowly growing.
Slow and steady, dude.
Yeah, it grows at the
1%.
same it grows at the same rate of my RDLs.
Yeah.
The heavier they get, the more people they get that message
Yep.
me and follow me.
Yep. Follower per pound.
That's right. I wish, man.
That'd be dope.
That would be dope. I'd
That
have
would
a
be
lot more followers than I
that'd
do.
be kind of inspiring too. No.
Right? I'd be like, going after that 1,000 followers now.
Heck yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
that's
I haven't been
you haven't been on Instagram much.
I'm really good at not getting I'm really good at not posting content. No, I'm kidding. I'm really good at like just not getting like overly absorbed in it. Just personally, I'm a very bad self-talker.
Yeah.
So like if I see something, I can like instantly bag on myself. Like
Mm.
no matter what. Like I'm really good at it. I'm sure a lot of people are really good at it too, but I'm pretty good at it. So if you think you can take me, let me know. So like yeah, like sometimes I'll go through like spurts. Like on my off days specifically, it's like I don't want to really be on Instagram on my off days
Yeah.
because if I am, I might like I'll maybe scroll across something that I just will end up thinking about for like an hour of my time, which
Really?
is more than it needs to be. Like not even like an hour, but like sometimes just like I don't need thoughts in my head, certain thoughts. So if I can
Yeah,
just
for
avoid
sure.
them, yeah, if I can just avoid them, or if I can like when it happens, also I get much better at kind of like stopping myself and like taking a step back and kind of like re-talking myself through things because generally when like you come across something your brain usually jumps to the worst possible conclusion for some reason, or at least this is my brain, and uh, and then it kind of goes, well, like why aren't you there yet? You know, like kind of a thing, and then it just keeps going. So, like
Yeah.
usually
It
I can catch it. I've
downhill.
got
Yeah,
yeah
that snowball effect.
yeah I've gotten much better at kind of catching it and taking a step back because I used to practice taking a step back from feeling like my life was going 1,000 miles an hour because for some reason I feel like that's a thing that happens to me a lot too is like for no reason at all I'll just be like doing something and then I'll like realize how like caught up and it's like a very weird feeling like everything is just it's just like go 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 go, you know,
Yeah.
even when you're just like walking or like getting into your car about to go do something and you're just like it's got to happen now, I got to get in like right now, I have like minutes, like it's like go go
Right.
go. So sometimes I personally that happens to me, so I have to catch it first off, I have to be like kind of aware of it, and then I just have to kind of like tell myself that there really is no like there is nothing that's actually physically impending right now that is like forcing me to feel like I have to be in this state of like anxiousness.
Yeah.
So don't feel anxious if I don't need to feel anxious. So
Hmm.
same thing when it comes to like this self-talk thing. It's kind of like if I don't need these thoughts in my head right now, they they have no place being in here. If they have no place being in here, then I have no there's no reason for me to be thinking about them. So
Yeah.
um yeah, that's like kind of my relationship with Instagram um, at the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So
Yeah, Instagram is a tough place, man.
it can be. It
That's
can be.
why, you know, that's why I really like my training page. Because all I do is I just post. It's literally just a video dump for me,
Yeah.
right? Um, recently it's gotten more positive, right? And people are starting to comment on my videos and message me off of them and all that stuff. But for a long time, it was just a place where I threw my updates and my workouts from the day, and you know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm 300 photos, like I'm 300 posts in.
Damn.
Right. Like I I
I think that's
also
more than me.
right. And um I just passed a year working with Nick
Yeah.
like a couple days ago, and I've just posted every day, right? Except my off days.
Mm-hmm.
So it all adds up, right?
Yeah. Just
And
about.
yeah, just about. Um and so I don't know, it's always just been like a video dump for me, and at one point I tried to like change it and make it so that I provided something valuable in the comment, or not in the comments, in like the text.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I was spending so much of my own time trying to really come up with something insightful
Mm.
to tell people. And I just like I had this moment over the summer. I was like, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody gives a shit about what I have to say in this Instagram post. Like, nobody reads it. It doesn't matter. And like after that, I just kind of moved to, I literally just logged what the weight was. I was like, yep, pretty decent day. Things moved all right.
Mm-hmm.
Log. And I
Boom.
literally just type log
Yeah.
and, and then
Yeah.
say what,
And it
what
feels
the,
good.
it does, because it's
Yeah.
so fast.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is posting the videos up, and I'm like, yeah, That's it. Now my lifts and stuff are over for the day. I don't have to think about them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I can go back and reference it later if I want to. That's what I really do like that I have this whole year just like documented of stuff.
It is useful.
Because I can go back and like post my 185 RDL from a year ago.
Hell yeah.
Right? And like that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm like,
remember
ah,
like those first RDLs. Yeah.
yeah. Whew.
Yeah, man. You've come a long way.
It's been it's been crazy,
It
man.
has been. It's been
Like
rad.
this has probably been the wildest just like year and experience, and so much stuff has happened. It's been really cool.
It has been.
I'm really thankful for just like everything that has gone on. You
Yeah,
know,
as crazy as 2020 was.
yeah, exactly. I just so much of my own life developed in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like everything else kind of got put aside,
Yeah.
and I got to actually just like develop myself,
Yeah.
and that was freaking awesome.
Facts, dude. Hell yeah.
Like
Here's
it
the
was
us, Brady. Here's the
yeah.
us. And anyone else in the
Cheers.
chat that's been killing it.
Yeah,
Here's to you guys too.
all the secret beast out of 2020
Yeah.
who made a change in themselves because the world kind of stopped around them.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot, like I know it was like definitely a super negative time. There was a lot of negativity that came
There
out of
is
it,
a
but
lot
there
of
was also a lot of good things that came out of it too. So,
yeah,
you always got to be grateful for something. You got to find something to be grateful about.
yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just be miserable all the time.
Got to find some light because even even when it's not all this crazy COVIDness and everything that's going on, there's still bad stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, even when the world starts spinning around you again and life is crazy and it seems like in your own bubble everything is okay, there is still just the same amount of negative stuff going on. It's just in your little world, it keeps spinning.
Yeah.
2020 just happened to be a year where for a majority of people the world kind of stopped spinning.
Yeah.
And so I hope everybody was able to kind of walk away and realize that we do have to take time to develop who we are and find positives and grow even when bad things happen. So
Yeah.
because it's pretty awesome.
Badass. Yeah, make
Like
some moves. You'll surprise yourself.
yeah, it's really cool. It's
Yeah.
good
See
stuff.
what you got.
But so do you have anxiety in the gym?
I used to.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I used to get intimidated by dudes that were bigger than me, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also used to like one time, like I heard someone like talk about me like off like the side of my ear, unfortunately, and that like crushed my soul like just a little
And
bit. Yeah, I'm over it, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. It still kind of
it's
hurts.
you
Still is
know,
in there. I
you don't
remember it.
forget it though,
Yeah,
right?
I'm clearly I remember it because I'm talking about it right now,
Right.
and I felt a little something something at the time. But
Yeah.
like yeah, and I get it too because like sometimes like I it's been a very it's pretty crazy how like when you don't know how to deal with things and then you slowly have to just figure out how to deal with them. And I've found one thing that's really helped me deal with a lot of things is when you complain or you blame other people or just when you do that, you put the blame on someone else, you take away your power in the situation. So like if I was to get upset at someone because they said something, that's me relinquishing my power to them because I'm allowing someone else to dictate how I feel emotionally. And that no longer happens. I could care less what anyone thinks about me because if I do, then it will demand that I give them more of my emotions, more of my
Yes.
energy. So I don't really give in to anyone like that anymore. maybe like my significant other, of course, is like kind of who I will give my emotions to.
Yeah,
But
that's different.
I definitely pick and choose where my emotions go now.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. I had gym anxiety. It's so funny. I didn't I never had gym anxiety until like right before I got like started coaching with Nick.
Hmm.
It's so weird. Like I'd been training for so long up to that point. Um, but I think it's because in that past yearish, you know, again, when you start training, you're just kind of flopping around in the gym, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but roughly the year before my injury, I became a little bit more prominent in the gym that I was in, and people like knew who I was and kind of had, an image of who I was and what I did and those kinds of things. And then I got injured, and I knew going back I was nothing like the last time they saw me.
Hmm.
And that like kind of freaked me out for a little bit. The people were going to see me and be like, "What the fuck happened to you?"
Yeah.
Right? Um, which is which is why I bought gym equipment for my basement.
Yeah, I know. That still baffles me.
Yeah, right. So
My anxiety. I'm too broke for that anxiety, Brady. That is way too expensive for my
and
emotions.
yeah, and so I got some stuff and trained in my basement for a little while until I was like, okay, now it's time.
Hmm.
I'm still not the person that I was even remotely close, but it's time. And that's when I contacted Nick and I was like, let's do this. And then we started in the gym. And when I did that, I I've always kind of done the head down, like big clothes approach, just like disappear for a while and then come out of the clothes a different person. And then people are like, whoa. Like I've always kind of done that, disappear and then come back new. And so that's how I went in. And I didn't say a single word in that gym for like 6 weeks. Like
That's curious.
I didn't speak to anybody. The first conversation that was ever had in there was I was on leg press and a guy just came over to me and he was like, "Dude, you've made some really big progress recently."
Let me see that butt cheek.
And I was like, "Thanks." And that was it. Like that was the only conversation I had between like starting and lockdown.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah. Like I didn't speak to anybody. I kept my headphones in. I recorded my sets and probably looked
Yeah.
like a fucking psycho, which that doesn't help either, especially with gym anxiety. It's like having to record your sets because now
Yeah.
people are seeing you like set up a phone, and this still happens. It's a little bit easier to do. I mean, now I've been doing it for a long time. I kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But and some of my lifts to the general public are probably impressive. And so it's like, oh yeah, he's just recording his lifts because he's lifting a lot, right? But back then, none of my lifts were anything to like haw about,
Hmm.
right? And so you're setting up the camera and you're just like, I know people are looking at me and I look ridiculous. And this is not heavy, but
Hmm.
it's heavy for me and I'm going to look like shit. And so, just all these things kind of run through your head while you're
Yeah.
setting up the phone. And that's a hard thing to kind of overcome is like filming anxiety
Hmm.
because it does draw attention. right? You're setting up a phone, and I tried to do it so slyly every time. I was like, I'm just gonna sneak it on the floor and just press
Yeah.
record, walk away like I didn't set my phone there.
No,
And,
I couldn't do that. I would feel
and
too like I would do that and then be like, all right, everyone saw me. Like,
like, dude, I took it so far sometimes where I'd sit on the ground where I was gonna set up my phone, like I was just like chilling on the ground for a second and like take a drink and set my phone on the side and press the record button while taking a drink and then set it down and then go
yeah.
do my set like I wasn't recording.
Wow. Yeah,
Like
that is
that one was tough,
that's
but
yeah.
we got over that one. Um, Now most of my only anxiety that comes up around filming is that people just like get in the way of my camera. That
Yeah.
or that my camera is in somebody's way.
Okay. I'm
Right.
more worried about my camera being accidentally on someone in the background sometimes. That's like what I worry
I
about.
think about that sometimes.
Like when
Um,
I'm setting my camera up and then like and I know that someone's like in the view, they're behind me, and I'm like wondering if they're thinking like I'm on that guy's camera. I should sue him.
yeah, mine is pretty apparent where, I've got a whole tripod now and all that stuff.
True. Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you didn't want to be in this shot, you would probably just get out of the shot.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do try my best to not record other people, but sometimes the video is the video, right?
That happens.
Um, I try to be courteous of if people are talking in my video, and then I'll like make sure I mute it.
Okay.
So like if they're having a conversation while I'm doing my set and my phone picks it up, I'm like, yeah, I'll mute that one.
I forgot what it was, but I think I was getting spotted on rack chins and like the guy was recording me and it like snapped to the front facing cam somehow while it was recording. I'll have to find this video, but I posted it. But it's like just this guy like super close up like in the yeah.
That's hilarious. So you ask people to record your sets for you?
I never do that, but
Dude, I could
yeah,
never.
I've maybe only like he was probably like one of like three, and I've actually had people like offer. They're like, "Yo, you want me to record you?" And I'm like, "No, it's fine. I'm just gonna leave
It's
it
okay.
down there because no one can see that, and I don't want to bring more attention to myself." Like I
Right.
feel like when other people are recording, it's even worse because it's like it's just worse. That's
Now
just
this
how it is.
dude's watching me do my set,
Yeah.
and people are seeing that this dude is watching me do my set.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like you asked him to record you
Right.
because you know, dude, I saw this. Tell me, what do you think about this? Ready? The kid steps up to his 1RM, pulls it, and then realizes that his camera wasn't on. So he just starts like, he just creates like a little scene because his camera wasn't on. And then I think he went back and pulled it again on camera.
What?
That was like, that's when that's
That
different.
happened?
This is different kind of camera use that we're talking about. Yeah, dude, that happened. Like with the reason why Brady and I record, it's not just because we're like trying to stroke our egos. Like, I'm gonna stroke my ego with my 135 low incline bench. Get out of here. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's literally just so that we can see if things are moving right. If and you can kind of see if you have a rep or two left in the tank, or if you really
Yeah.
went to failure. Mainly, how are things moving? And you kind of double back on like form and things like that.
Yeah.
Not to see how much weight we're doing and to like show off by any means.
Yeah.
Like what I just said, yeah, like this dude set his camera up for a 1RM, pulled it, forgot to press record, and got upset. It's like, dude, you're in here for the
He
wrong
needed it.
reason.
He needed it for the gram, man.
Yeah, dude. It's for the
Yeah.
gram. It's for the
Now
gram.
I use my videos so that I know how to adjust.
Yeah.
Right? It shows me like for instance, relatively recently, I switched to incline press, barbell incline press, right?
Low or high?
Mid, I suppose. Probably closer to the lower side. But yeah, more midish. And I was taking my videos, and it was the first time I had seen my pressing from like a good side angle, and I'd noticed that I wasn't rotating properly at the shoulder, which is why my wrists were collapsing backwards because my elbows weren't under my wrists, so I was getting this is hard to explain. Um, basically, where the bar was and where my elbow were aligned in my press. But because I wasn't rotating properly at the shoulder, my elbows were traveling behind my wrist. So my wrist had to collapse so that the bar sat over my elbow.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have noticed that if I didn't record the set.
Yeah.
For weeks, I had been wondering why my wrists were collapsing. And it's because if they didn't collapse, without the rotation at the shoulder, the bar would have went forward because the weight was in front of my elbow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is one reason and example of why we record our sets, and then other reasons are as Brandon listed, so that we can see, do we have more in the tank? That's how we find out, are we actually training hard enough? Yeah. Right? Where is our intensity level at? I also use my videos a lot to kind of auto-regulate. Am I just fucking cooked? Right? Yeah. Where am I failing places I shouldn't be failing? And what broke down in this set that shouldn't have broken down? And, what adjustment do I need to make in the next set? And all of those kinds of things. Like it's so good to see yourself from an outside perspective. Yeah. Because you know what you felt like in the set. And then if you can put that together with what it looked like outside of the set, you can make adjustments very quickly, very precisely, especially as you get better at it, right? Yeah. The more in tune you are with your body, the quicker and smarter you can make adjustments, right? And that's a good way to not get hurt.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, yes, it is. It's a really good way to not get hurt.
Yeah, that is.
Also, there's a statistic.
Hey, throw a number at us.
That people who are recording their sets, they try like 15% harder because they're on camera. Yeah. Right?
Cool.
You don't want to bitch out on camera.
I have experienced this.
I also can say that I've definitely taken things like to the end because I was on camera.
End.
And if I wasn't on camera, I probably would have gave up.
Yeah. Yep. I was just about to
fuck. I was like, and now sometimes I think about it with my sets. I'm like, I kind of have like a reputation to uphold now.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely got to make sure I don't bitch out. And like, maybe that's not the perfect way to go about it, but it pushes me, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what pushes me. So I'm going to use whatever tools allow me to progress. Yeah. And if recording a set is what mentally sets me in the right place to fucking try, then that's what I got to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to find something that makes you a little crazy.
Right. It doesn't matter if it seems weird, because at the end of the day, I'm doing more.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. I'm getting more gains.
That's right. Like, it's the same thing with this RDL competition. My RDL would not be what it is right now if I wasn't fucking fighting for the top spot. Like, mm-hmm. I would not have done 4.5 plates.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened.
It just wouldn't have. But I was like, I cannot lose.
It probably would have, just at a much slower rate. Probably.
Well, yeah.
Who knows?
So 4.5 plates would have happened.
Maybe.
But it would not have happened before February.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Right? And so you kind of have to learn yourself and what pushes you. I think I talked about this in a recent Instagram post. I was like, you got to kind of find the things that push you to progress. And I am a very competitive person, which is why, I sparked this RDL competition. I was like, hey, Calvin, I bet you I can do this before you do this. And it turned into this whole fiasco that it is now, which is
actually funny.
I mean, there's a lot of other benefits that have come from this. I mean, there's so much camaraderie going on in the chat now, and everybody's just in this little friendly competition with each other, and it's driving everybody's progress. But I thrive in that. I thrive trying to be the best.
Yeah.
And if I have somebody right on my tail or just in front of me, like, that's all I need.
Better.
That's all I need. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I live for that stuff, and I know that about myself.
Good shit.
Yeah, so like you got to find the things that drive your progression, because that little, it's like that little mental switch, right? And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's like your why. You know, why are you out here doing this?
And
And
it creates a nice zone for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't fall behind.
Yeah.
I have to put out good work today, because if I don't, I will fall behind. Because I know everyone else in the team is fucking busting their ass. Right? Everybody's gunning for the title.
Yeah.
And so if I miss a week, if I have a bad week, I'm now behind.
True.
So I have to produce.
Cool.
It's a good environment.
It is. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
It's fun. It's fun. And none of us are aggressive about it, or like you're shit. It's like every time a video gets posted, it's like, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Like, that looked awesome. Good job. And then, but in our heads, we're like, I'm gonna beat that next week.
I'm gonna come for you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, that was fucking sick, man. Good job. Watch my next video.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to find that environment. Environment is so huge. You know, we talked about that right at the beginning.
Is there anyone pulling 2.5 plates in the chat? Sarah?
I don't know. There's been a handful of new guys. Yeah, that's why you got to pipe up in the chat, man.
Dude. Yeah, I did ask though. I know I'm not very talkative. I could be more.
That's all right.
I could be.
But
contemplate it like multiple times. But then I'm like, something like drags me away for like 1 minute, and then it's like out of the air. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you just find someone that you're friendly with, that's close. You know, this is why people have training partners, right?
Yeah.
I've never had
I've always been a lone dog.
Me too. I've never had a training partner.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I've had 2, maybe.
You've had 2?
And my yeah. And
I've never had
both didn't last. I'm sorry. I don't mean and they both didn't last like longer than like 2 months.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, okay. So I've had a couple of training partners. Okay. But none of them lasted long enough to do much of anything. Yeah. Right? And so, you know, it would be cool to have just like someone to kind of go in and just like fuck shit up with, you know?
Yeah, it's
like it would be cool as hell.
Yeah.
Because again, it's that you feed off each other's energy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you really need it. Like, sometimes you gotta lean a little bit.
Yeah.
Because some days you don't always got it.
I feel that, man. I feel that. Yep. Yeah. It's definitely like you're definitely able to push yourself like in different ways when you're with other dudes or gals for that matter. Like, it's just when you have someone else there kind of pushing you, telling you that you can, while you're kind of on the sideline saying that you kind of can't.
Right.
It's definitely more motivating.
Yeah, it's that same thing of like knowing you're on camera, so you got to push a little bit harder.
Yeah.
You know, the benefit to having a partner, and especially a well-trained partner, is you can be in your sets and you think you're at the end of your rope, but your partner goes, "You're fine. Like, that moved fine. Stick to your guns. Go again." Yeah. Right? You can have somebody, an external eyes and ears, that you would later go back and see the video and go, "Oh, I had another one." Right? You instead have someone that's telling you in the set. You know, You got someone to hype you up. You got somebody to
That's like,
yell a cue at you sometimes.
not to even be like selfish, like because I think the reason why is just because I just don't think that I would ever be able to find, and like don't get me wrong though, like at the time, I'm not speaking about right now, but like in the past, I just knew that I was never I there was just no one in my area that was on the same level as I was
Yes.
in terms of like dedication and like into it, I guessness.
Yeah.
So it's like I just needed someone to yell at me for my last rep or spot me on my last rep. Like, you know,
Yep.
sometimes it's just I don't know if that's also like an individual thing as well. Just because I just like to do things by myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like I know that you're also kind of like lone dog as well. Like you can
Yep.
do things on your own time. You can take your rest how you would like them. You don't get caught up in conversation. But it's different though. When you have someone else like that, like you and I, like if you when you have another, like if you and I were to train, like we'd be on the same page with pretty much
Right.
everything.
Yeah. It's for a long time I've kind of thought about it. I'm like, having a training partner would be really nice. And then I think about everything that I need in a training partner. I'm like, there's not a fucking person around here that can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
Exactly.
there's nobody that trains on like any sort of intensity level
Hmm.
near the way I train. You know, there's no one around that I think jives and will know the right way to kind of push me or tell me the things that I need to know in set. Like someone can spot me, which is completely different than having a training partner that's going to go, stack your wrists,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's going to know the right things to tell me so that I can produce a good rep.
Yeah.
Or even have the consistency to be there,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the other problem I have. I'm like, if I'm gonna have someone with me, I need them to just be there,
That is the other thing. Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'm
I
like,
am
they
not
gotta
very
be there.
timely. That might be
I'm
the one thing that we do struggle on. I can be okay on time, but I am very like, it's like, oh shit, time. Yeah, time. Time is not sometimes my friend. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. But whatever. Different conversation.
yeah. It's just like I don't know. It sounds so big-headed, but like there's levels to this.
There actually is, yeah.
There,
Like you can't
there's
just pick a partner.
right. There's levels to this, and as I said in the beginning, like the gym that I train in is not the environment that has people training at the same level that I train.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
And
And if they
and
are
you know
as in
what? The crazy thing is that I think a lot of people don't understand is it almost has nothing to do with strength.
yeah, I was just
Like
about to say that too.
like it almost has nothing to do with strength.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Because I've been in that same scenario. It's like the person is lifting like 300 pounds more than me, but we're just still on the
yeah,
wrong pages. Like we're
because
just not on
again,
the same pages.
it it's an energy thing,
Yeah.
right? You guys have to feed off of each other's energy, and if you don't sit on the same level, it doesn't go back and forth,
Yeah. Yep.
you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
So
dude, I've been there, man. I've been there. Yeah, it's really hard when two training mentalities. That's the worst thing. Actually, what happened to me? There were two different training mentalities that were trying to do the same
to
thing,
coexist,
and
yeah.
I am like saying one thing, and they're saying another thing, and it's just like,
Right, you're just
and then
bashing
it blows
heads,
up.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Training partners are so hard. I don't know. It seems like all of the pros have training partners. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
hell, man?
yeah.
How?
I think just get like it's like a coming of age thing. It's like you just eventually you just break out from all the other like normies, and then it's just like the creme de la creme. So we'll just hopefully in the future, Brady, we'll
Maybe.
have some
Or you can
partners.
just move here.
I was gonna say we're probably just gonna end up being our own training partners pretty soon once Kelsey and
Yeah.
I just move down there.
Yeah. Just fucking move here and then we're good.
That'll pretty much solve all of our problems,
Exactly.
honestly.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
See?
Dude,
Add another pro to the list.
I'm calling Kelsey right now.
Right now.
I'm
We're moving tomorrow.
move.
But yeah, training partners are tricky.
Yes, they are. Very.
It's like you gotta find the right person you vibe with. You know, runs on the same wavelengths as you.
Mm-hmm. It definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Definitely makes a big difference.
I think it makes rest periods easier. Honestly, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go, and then you're gonna go, and then we're gonna chat for like a sentence, and then I'm gonna go again.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna talk about how the set went, and then we're gonna
And
go.
then I'm up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like timing when you just have two people works really well. Because sometimes if you're by yourself, 30 seconds feels like 4 minutes because you're just sitting there.
I've also experienced 4 minutes feeling like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've had it go both ways. It's like it's so hard to gauge it.
Yeah. I think it's just are you a talker in the gym?
With the right person.
Okay. I should say like not are you a talker, but cuz like normally I'm a talker. Like I enjoy talking to people, but like when I'm in the gym, I'm a little bit less inclined unless we're talking about just gym things.
Yeah, so I talk about gym things.
Yeah.
But honestly, it depends on the day. Like I'll have days where I won't say words.
Yeah, same.
Like
That's beautiful. That's
dude,
beautiful.
When I was in prep, there were days that I just never said words. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
we're just lifting today. And so yeah, it totally depends on the day, and kind of what the collective vibe is. Right. So there's some person skills that come into play there, right? If I can tell like a training partner just doesn't want to chat, then we just don't chat. Like it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna tell you, all right, let's go. Like, here we go. Like, come on. We got shit to do, man.
Yeah.
Like like you don't get this day back, so let's fucking get to work.
Yeah, my least favorite thing talking about in the gym is definitely politics.
I've never.
I hate that.
I don't talk about politics
that.
anyway.
We have some older dudes in the gym that love talking politics.
You're supposed to go in the locker room for that. They gotta sit naked on a bench.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Mask on, dick slinging.
Yep. Big old sauna. Sauna chilling. Yeah. Yeah. But I love it when people were like, yo, can you help me with this? I love that.
Dude, I love when people ask me for help.
Yeah.
Is that weird? It makes you feel like an authority in the gym a little bit. Like people
I made it
have
a point
noticed.
to not go out and like give help, just only when it's asked for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels really fucking good.
I definitely there's a lot of people that I would love to give help to, but I'm not someone that's just gonna go give help. Like,
yeah, only until they ask.
It just, I feel like it doesn't get recepted well.
You
know?
No, yeah, it's never. And if you do it, you have to know that you have to do it a certain way. You can't just go in there and be like a dickhead. Like, there's this thing called a shit sandwich. It's not something that I actually do. It's just something that I know about. It's where you like compliment someone and then you uncompliment them with what they were doing wrong, and then you compliment them again with something else. So if you are gonna be that guy, try out a shit sandwich. It might work for you. But long story short, just keep it to yourself until they ask, because you don't want to look like that bozo that goes and then offers the advice, and then the person A doesn't do it, or B does it wrong and can't get it. Like, you just don't want to look like that kind of guy. Yeah. Like, you just open up a can of worms that you can't even put the lid back on. It's like you're a bozo.
Yeah, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, I could go over there and just be like, hey man, I used to struggle with this too. I've got a couple pointers, like if you want them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would probably do this a little bit differently. You know, if you want some help with it, I can kind of I can give you some cues.
Yeah.
But
It's usually not even that. That was like a very polite, nice way to go about things.
yeah,
You know
I'm
what
like
I
I'm
heard?
asking if they want help. I'm not even
Yeah.
giving unsolicited help. I'm like
Yeah.
asking if they want help, and it
Yeah.
still just sounds gross to me.
Uh-huh. And they're probably more than happy. They're probably more than likely to say, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. Like, let's see what you got." But like they probably also felt like all they probably heard was, "Yo, you look like doo doo right now. Let me help you out." That's probably what they heard.
Yeah, just like, man, I don't know. It's so hard.
It is hard. It's
It
hard
is
to.
hard because like
That's
you,
why it's only when someone asks me, I'm like, okay, like we'll see what we can do. Like I'm not gonna promise anything, but like we can see what's good.
it's funny. People don't ask me for help.
Not yet. Not yet.
Nah.
I've been training at my gym for like 10 years, Brady, and like these
Oh,
kids have like grown up with me, so like they finally are like asking me questions now. So it's like that feels good.
gotcha.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
actually am starting to feel like I am like one of like the dudes that people go to, which is kind of cool.
that is cool. Yeah, there. It's funny. The people that do ask me for help or ask me for a spot are they're the dudes that are really strong and they've taken note of what I'm actually doing. They're like, "Oh, you know what you're doing."
Hmm. Cool.
But the ones that don't actually need my help are the ones that just like have no idea,
Yeah, that's how it always goes too.
right? And I think it comes down to like you don't know what you don't know, and you
Yes, that is
can't
the
ask
best.
questions that you don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And
Ignorance is
sometimes
bliss.
sometimes I wonder if when people first come into like the group and get on the group calls, if they think that I'm just dumb because I ask so many questions.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things it's like the more that I learn, the more questions I have,
Yeah,
right? Because I know more.
yeah.
And when you don't know anything, it's really hard to think of questions
Hmm.
because you don't know what you don't know. How can you
Until
ask a
you know.
question? Right. How can you ask a question on something that you don't know?
Yeah.
And yeah, but I always feel like people must think I'm absolutely stupid in the group because
It's like, yo,
I'm
how
just like
long has this kid been here for? He's been
like
here for a year and he's still asking questions.
like I ask a ton of questions just 'cause,
No, but
and
it's very true
you
though.
know most of the questions that I ask are so like small nitty gritty stuff now. Like I mostly ask them. It's kind of funny. I feel a little bit of a pressure to like ask questions in the group
For Nick,
calls.
for Nick's
Yeah,
sake, to
just
pick up the
because
slack.
it's become like this standard that I kind of ask questions and kind of keep the call moving.
Hmm.
So like
Yo, Nick really should hire you. What the fuck?
I, I know.
Brady's a plant. They planted you, Brady.
I guess I guess so. But yeah, I need to be like an associate of Gloff.
Oh, dumbass.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
just I
I
come up
think
with these super sometimes they're ridiculous questions that like really mean a whole lot of nothing, but I know they'll end up sparking a further conversation, so I ask them.
yes, yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
I try and get more people to ask questions off of my questions.
I think things go. They can always anything, any topic you find, it can always go deeper and it can always go wider.
Yep.
Like it's people. Most of the people that just go in there, that just go into the gym, the typical run of the mill people. Those are the people that have gone a little bit. They're pretty shallow and they might be a little bit wide. And then I think that like once you get into that intermediate section, it's like you've gone pretty wide, but now it's really on you to go a little bit deeper,
Go
to
deep.
ask more questions. And the more
Yep.
questions that you kind of like you don't know what you don't know. You
Right.
don't know how deep it is, so go deeper. And then when you
Yep.
go deeper, you realize, oh shit goes a little bit wide now. And you see how wide it goes, and you go deeper and wider. And then eventually now you've got this awesome like basically, if you can imagine, every time you go deeper and you go a little bit wider with those roots, it's like now you have kind of added it's almost like every route that you go deeper and wider with is more knowledge and more questions.
You're in a really giant dark room and you have little tea light candles and you have no idea how big the room is, but you light a tea light candle and you realize there's further to go. So then you go to the furthest edge of the light and you put another tea light candle. Yes. And that's exactly what's going on with like knowledge.
Yes, you're in a cave, a dark cave, and as you go deeper into the cave, you keep lighting more candles.
Yes, it's like Minecraft.
Torches, yes.
It's
Yeah.
like Minecraft. You're digging a cave, you can't see because it's dark as hell, but then you put a torch and you can see, oh, there's a lot more cave to go.
Yes.
Right? And so you keep going.
Yeah, until you've mapped the entire cave.
So yeah, the people that ask questions aren't dumb.
No, they're not. They're actually ones that are the deepest in the cave that are finding all the doubloons.
Most of the time.
Yeah, they're the ones finding all the doubloons, man.
Yeah. Man, I've got more questions, but we're
yeah, dude. I think we should probably call it, man.
Yeah. Okay, I've got. Oh my god, dude, we only covered one of my questions today.
I think we only. I think I only got to ask like one actual legit one.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't even know.
That's all right.
That's gonna be a rough timestamp. Like,
No, we covered a lot of stuff.
Oh, we definitely did.
Yeah. You know, there was a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Midway. All right. Yeah.
We'll wrap that up. You know, I think some of these we could probably answer in Snackums, which should be a thing that should be coming out on the channel soon. Keep an eye out for those. They're going to be probably, 15, 20-minute segments that just answer a single particular question. Mm-hmm. Instead of having, a 2.5 hour long podcast where Brandon and I go on tangents and all over the place. These are just going to be small videos that answer a very specific question. So if you have any of those that you just want answered real quick, just put it down in the comments, and then we'll have a running list of questions that we need to get answered. So shoot that in the comments, or you can probably message us on Instagram.
Sweet.
Other than that, I think we're probably good to go out. Thank you everybody for listening. If you made it this far, you are a true G. We appreciate you for giving this a full-on listen. And if you haven't yet and you're watching us on YouTube, give us a subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications. We come out every Tuesday. However, with the added snack, we haven't decided when we are going to actually publish those yet. So make sure to turn on notifications and be ready to start getting those. And if you're listening just on audio, you guys are awesome. If you can leave us a rating and review, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, so we'll catch you all with another Weekly Anabolic next Tuesday. All right, Brandon. It's good chatting.
Adios, senor.
Adios.